Have you ever paused to consider what life is truly like when you become a senior and find yourself completely alone? It's more than just a brief solitude. It's waking up in an empty house, eating every meal in silence, and perhaps going an entire day without exchanging a single word. This situation is rarely talked about until people are already living it, and by then, many feel lost. However, living independently in your later years does not have to mean loneliness. The truth is, you can take immediate, practical steps to maintain your mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical health, even without a partner or regular company. In this guide, we'll walk you through 4 crucial habits that any older adult living solo should embrace. These aren't just feel-good suggestions, they are effective, real-world strategies supported by psychological insight and experience. They are direct, highly useful, and have an enormous positive impact. Therefore, whether you're currently living alone or anticipating that life stage, this information will help you transform that chapter into a truly enriching experience. You absolutely deserve peace, purpose, and dignity, no matter your age or living arrangement. Be sure to stick with us until the very end, as the final piece of advice could entirely shift your perspective on being alone in old age. It's a key insight that has enabled many seniors to do more than just cope. It's helped them genuinely thrive. Let's get started.
Number 1. Build a consistent daily rhythm. One of the earliest things to fall apart when you're aging and living alone is your internal clock. With no visitors, no calendar plans, no set engagements, the days begin to blur. You might start eating breakfast at noon, staying in nightwear until evening, or even forgetting what day it is. At first, it may seem harmless, but over time, this kind of aimlessness quietly weakens your focus and emotional well-being. That's why one of the smartest things you can do is to build a basic, dependable daily rhythm. Not something rigid or overly detailed, but a gentle framework that gives each day a clear start, a middle, and a close. Waking up at a set time, washing your face and putting on clothes, even if no one's around to notice. Preparing a real breakfast. Setting aside a few minutes for light movement, a hobby, or a moment in the fresh air. Having dinner at a steady hour and turning in at a decent time. This routine isn't about staying busy. It's about giving your mind and body something steady to lean on. When life quiets down and your social world shrinks, the predictability of routine can offer the grounding your mind still craves. Psychologists often remind us that humans are naturally tuned to rhythm. And as we age, that rhythm becomes even more vital. It keeps restlessness at bay, it improves sleep, it even boosts digestion and mental clarity. For instance, there's Walter, an 81-year-old widower who shared how life blurred after he lost his wife. Days passed in a haze. But when he chose to reintroduce rhythm, even just by making his bed and drawing the curtains at the same time each day, he felt his sense of control slowly return. In time, he began walking in the mornings and enjoying tea in the evenings. These gentle habits gave his day structure, and along with it, a deep calm. When you're living alone, it's all too easy for time to drift by unnoticed. But being by yourself doesn't have to mean living without structure. In fact, creating a daily rhythm is one of the most powerful forms of protection you have for your mental and emotional state. It's a quiet form of self-respect that others may not witness, but you will experience its value every day. Number 2. Soft, steady movement for a healthier body and sharper mind. One of the toughest parts of aging alone is how motionless daily life can become. You wake, sit in one spot, shift to another, walk to the kitchen, and return to that same seat again. Hours can drift by with hardly any movement. Days can pass with much energy. And slowly, your body begins to respond. Your back grows tight, your joints start to ache, your balance becomes less steady, and soon even the act of standing can feel like a challenge. But here's what many overlook. Staying active doesn't require a gym pass, a strict workout routine, or expensive gear. What it does require is regularity and a simple commitment to keep your body in motion, even in the smallest of ways. Gentle movement does more than keep muscles and bones strong. It's deeply tied to your mood, memory, and how clear your mind remains as the years go on. A walk to the end of the street, stretching while waiting for tea to brew, or standing and sitting 10 times from your favorite chair. Each small action tells your body you're still needed. In fact, research shows that light, regular movement in seniors can ease depression, improve sleep, and even delay memory loss. So, staying active isn't just about your heart or legs, it protects your mental well-being too. Consider Ella Lehner, a 78-year-old woman who lived alone on a quiet street. After losing her husband, she hardly left her home. Her knees began to bother her. She felt drained even after resting. One morning, she chose to walk to the mailbox, and the next day she repeated it. Within weeks, she was strolling the block. It didn't change everything overnight, but it gave her a small purpose each day. She said she felt more alert, calmer, and proud of herself again. This isn't about turning into a fitness buff. It's about protecting your freedom. Because when you stay physically active, you're not just stretching limbs, you're stretching out the quality of your life. You're giving yourself more time with more independence. More mornings where you rise without needing assistance, you cook your own meals, you care for your own plants. And just as importantly, gentle movement connects you to the world beyond your walls. A stroll through the neighborhood could lead to spotting a familiar face, soaking up the sun, or hearing birdsong. These little moments matter. They remind you that even in solitude, you still belong to something bigger. So move a little every day, not to impress anyone, but because your presence still matters. And your body, no matter how many years it has carried you, still deserves movement, care, and kindness. If you're still watching and these messages are speaking to you, drop a number 2 in the comments so I know you're with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that bell icon too so you won't miss upcoming content. Your support helps us keep making thoughtful videos that educate and encourage. Now, let's keep going.
Number 3, meaningful connection in small, steady ways. When you age alone, silence can take on many forms. Some days it feels soothing, other days it feels like a quiet ache. You might go long stretches without hearing your own name spoken. And even if you pride yourself on independence, there comes a point where too much solitude begins to wear on the heart. But here's what many get wrong. Connection doesn't require crowds or constant company. It doesn't mean pushing yourself into noisy rooms or pretending to enjoy social scenes. It simply means finding small, steady ways to stay in touch with others and with life. A short phone call, a friendly chat with a neighbor, or a kind word shared at the local store. These tiny threads of interaction are more powerful than most people think. They remind you that you're still acknowledged, still valued, still part of humanity. And there's science to back this up. Research shows that seniors who maintain even gentle social ties have stronger immunity, lowered depression levels, and even a reduced risk of memory-related illness. That's not by accident. It's a reflection of how deeply human beings are wired to seek emotional connection. Take Richard, 83, who began living alone after his sons moved across the country. For a while, he barely spoke to anyone aside from doctor visits. Then, one day, he left a short note for a neighbor, offering to collect their mail while they were away. That small act led to a thank you, which became a regular Saturday coffee. Nothing dramatic, but it gave him something to anticipate, someone who genuinely cared. If there's a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, think about calling. If there's a neighbor you usually just nod at, try asking how their day has been. These small gestures don't only help others, they bring warmth and meaning back to your own life.
There's also great fulfillment in connecting through purpose. Many seniors find that volunteering or offering support, whether by reading to kids at the library or lending an ear to someone in need, brings deep satisfaction. Even if your home is quiet, your voice, your life story, and your presence still carry weight. Loneliness isn't always about being physically alone. It's often about feeling cut off. And that can shift with one phone call, one conversation, one new habit. So reach out, even if it feels unfamiliar. Make the first move, even if it's just a coffee invitation or a slow walk together. Staying socially engaged doesn't mean avoiding solitude. It means making sure solitude never becomes emptiness. Because you deserve to feel important, cared for, and connected, no matter your living situation.
But here's something you need to know. That feeling isn't the truth. Purpose doesn't retire. It doesn't vanish just because people stop depending on you. It simply changes its form. And when you live alone, discovering that new form is one of the most life-giving things you can do. Purpose doesn't need to be big or praised. It only needs to matter to you. It might be something small, like writing letters to your grandkids, tending tomatoes in the garden, keeping a diary, or restoring an old chair. Maybe it's making a daily call to someone who lives alone, or recording the stories of your life so your loved ones can understand their roots. The key is that it gives you something to wake up for, something that makes you think, move, and care. It gives your day shape and your heart quiet pride. There's a man named Samuel, 79, who lives alone in Michigan. After losing his wife, the silence was overwhelming. Then one day, he found an old typewriter in the garage. He cleaned it up and started typing his memories, his Navy days, meeting his wife, the birth of his child. He wasn't writing for anyone else, but by putting thoughts to paper, he rediscovered peace and meaning. Gradually, the silence didn't feel so empty anymore. Psychologists say that even a modest purpose is closely linked with stronger mental health, reduced stress, and longer life in older adults. That's because the human soul isn't meant to float. It's meant to aim. When you have something to live for, your days gain value. You're not just passing time, you're creating meaning, even if it's just for your own sense of pride. And here's what most people overlook. Living alone offers room to grow, to explore, to try new things, free from anyone else's expectations. To spend time doing what you truly love, not what others expect of you. Maybe music always called to you, but life never gave you space to learn it. Maybe you've dreamed of painting, cooking something new, or reading every novel by a favorite author. This is your moment. Living alone doesn't mean your inner world has to be silent. When you discover a purpose that stirs your soul, your space becomes alive with meaning. And that meaning, no matter how quiet or personal, is what keeps your spirit vibrant. So if today feels still, ask yourself, what can I create, tend, write, share, or care for tomorrow? Not to impress, but to bring peace to yourself. Because when you find purpose within solitude, you change what it means. You make it your strength. If you're still with me and this message is connecting with you, leave a number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss a new video. Your support helps us keep bringing you thoughtful, uplifting content.
Entering your later years and finding yourself living alone can be a profoundly difficult adjustment. It can make the world seem silent or give the impression that life is simply passing you by. However, this stage, when approached with the right outlook and positive habits, presents an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to rediscover facets of your identity that may have been hidden beneath years of responsibility and demands. Perhaps you recognized your own experience in the content we shared today. Maybe the quiet of an unoccupied home feels overwhelming at times. If that's the case, remember 2 things. First, you are not isolated in this experience, and second, you are powerful.
Creating a consistent daily structure, engaging in physical activity, seeking out small, meaningful connections, and identifying a personal reason to get up each morning, these are not merely comforting notions. They are tangible strategies you can use to safeguard your mental health, care for your physical well-being, and infuse your life with value and depth, even when you dine alone. We'd love to know, which of the 4 practices resonated with you most deeply? Are any of them already part of your life, and which one are you ready to start implementing tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining us. We genuinely appreciate you being here. Please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. What is one key takeaway you have from this video, and how do you intend to apply it? Your voice is important to us, and reading your comments fuels our work. If you found this video beneficial, please hit like, subscribe, and share it to help us keep producing honest, helpful content. Thanks for watching. We look forward to connecting with you again soon.